Is Lori here. I wanted to do my mid-year freakout tag while I had all of my books that I just filmed my other video with on my floor. So many of these books you will have seen in my top 10 books that I read so far this year, but there will be some new additions. So let's get into it. I saw this tag on a bunch of people's channels. Saw it on Owl Crate Society. I saw it on Alexa Loves Books, and I like to do tags. So yeah, let's get into it. The first question is, what is the best book you read so far in 2018? And what I chose, let me find it, is The Cruel Prince. Oh my god, that's not how it is. The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This was one of the first books I read during January, and I really, really liked it. I thought it was a perfect mashup between Game of Thrones and fairies. I cannot wait to re-listen to this book and then read Wicked King, which I will definitely be giving you guys my thoughts about. This book was signed to me from Holly Black, and I just loved it. I thought it was so great, and I cannot wait to re-experience this world by audiobook soon. The next question is, what is the best sequel that you read this year? And my favorite second book that I read was Wild Card by Mary Lou. Book last week. I loved it. I got it at BEA and it was just so much fun. I loved how it expanded the world. I love the deeper mystery. I love the characters. I love the diversity. I have a reading blog where I read this and I give you guys my thoughts, and I also have like a non-spoiler review in that video, and I will be doing my full spoiler thoughts come September, so make sure you check out all of those. But overall, definitely the best sequel that I've read so far this year. Question is, what is a release that came out recently that you haven't read but want to? And that is The Burning Maze by Rick Riordan. Books in publication order, and I fell a little bit behind on Magnus Chase, which is why I'm so behind reading this, but it wasn't really high on my priority list until I started hearing people like really talk about it in like vague, not spoiling you way, but say this book was pretty like a game changer, and I'm like, oh no, have to read it. So right now I'm re-listening to The Dark Prophecy, and then hopefully by the end of the summer I can finally read this and give you guys my non-spoiler vague thoughts, but I hear it's supposed to be good, so I'm really excited and hope that I really like it. Next question is, what is one book that you're excited for the second half of the year when it comes out? And I have two answers for this. One is Arch Enemies by Marissa Meyer, which is the second book in the Renegade series, which I really liked book one. I thought it was really, really well done. I gave it 4 stars. I read it in November, so I'm definitely excited to read Arch Enemies. And also another book that I have an arc of that comes out in November is Little White Lies by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which is another mystery that is set around a debutante theme, which sounds really, really cool. I have it. It's actually sitting right over there, but I'm afraid if I go get it, it's going to knock over my pile of books. So those 2 books are some that I really am looking forward to reading in the fall. And if my cards go all according to plan, I will be at New York City Comic Con on Thursday when she is signing. Fingers crossed, and I can get this arc signed to match my other Renegades arc that is signed, and that's very important to me. The next question is, what is your biggest disappointment this year? And I do actually have an answer for this. I always sometimes shy away from these answers, but for me it was The Raspberry Danish Murder by Joanne Fuqua. This is a long series. It's like a 22 book series. The mysteries have gotten better for me. Like, I've enjoyed them better in the back half, but this book really bothered me. Like, really bothered me. And I have a very hard time reading where we're in this romance that we're in right now that she's in. It's basically about this girl named Hannah Swanson. She owns a bakery and she winds up solving murders. It's like a cozy mystery, but I love the first half of the series. I love the mysteries and the world building. This book was all about her dealing with the aftermath of a relationship that I don't really approve of. And she was very, very, like, mopey and dealing with that. And I just was like, can you just get over it already? Like, get over it. That was kind of where I was at with it. I'm still invested. I mean, I've read 23 books in the series, so I'm not going anywhere. This book was just not my favorite, and I'm hoping that the next book will make it better, but no guarantees. What was your biggest surprise? And mine was Spies, Lies, and Allies from Entangled Teen. took me by surprise. I got sent it for review, and I read it kind of on a whim, but I really liked it. It was basically takes place over the summer. This girl's father owns this company, and she winds up feeling a little bit left out, so she winds up trying to convince her dad to let her work at this company or supervise this internship program, and it was just so much fun. I laughed, I cried, I was emotionally invested in all the characters. I thought it dealt with harder issues. If you're looking for kind of a fun but a little bit more emotional contemporary, I'd recommend it. It was just so fun, and I was emotionally invested, and I was near tears by the end. So yeah, it was fun. It was just a really, really fun read, and I really, really liked it, and I definitely want to read more by this author in the future. Question is, who is your new favorite author or new to you author that you read this year? And mine was Alexandra Christo, the author of To Kill a Kingdom. It was the first mermaid book like I've ever read that I recall reading, and I loved it. I thought it was so well done. I loved her world building. I loved the characters. I just was really, really impressed by it. She's definitely one of my authors that I'm adding to my to-read list, and I can't wait to see what she writes next. But this book definitely impressed me, and it was on my top 10 books that I've read so far this year. And yeah, I've added a bunch more mermaid books to my TBR that I wouldn't normally have done, simply because I really love this book and hope that I have equal success when reading those. My newest fictional crush was Bill from Save the Date. It's just this wedding planner that winds up having to help Charlie try to save her sister's wedding, and they're just dynamics, and the fun that they had together and like the interactions that they had just made me so funny. And he was just so like calm and mild-mannered when all this craziness was happening. I just loved him. I wanted to take him home with me, and I was like, I love you, Bill. So Bill from Save the Date is my newest fictional crush. I have a lot of fictional crushes, but Bill, for the moment, is very, very high on my list. The next question is, who's your newest favorite character? And that is Maddie from Not If I Save You, Sirs by Ellie Carter. I thought she was kick butt in this book. She was pretty awesome, and I really liked her. And this is like a survival story, and always sometimes in survival stories, the boy is the lead and the boy saves the day, but that is not the case in this book. The girl kicks asses and take names, and she is fierce. I loved her. I loved her in the present. I loved her in the past. I just thought she was incredible. If you have not read this book, you need to meet Maddie, because she will blow your mind. I loved Maddie. I can't wait to see if we get more books about Maddie and Logan, because I really like them both. But I definitely really liked Maddie, and she's definitely one of my top new favorite characters that I met this year. Super hard to make me cry when reading books, but the next question is, what book made you cry? And I definitely shed a few tears at the end of Spies, Lies, and Allies, but I definitely shed happier tears at the end of Magnus Chase. It was just a fantastic conclusion. And also, I'll add this book in here too, if I can get it. Obesso by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Will admit the end of this book had me a little teary, so those three books, I definitely shed a few tears. I don't cry a lot when reading books, but those may have broke my cold, dead little heart. So, just made you happy. And for me, that was Foolish Heart by Emma Mills. I read this. I was having a really, really rough week. I was super sick, and this book, I read it in one day, made me smile. It was kind of the same effect as watching the TV series Greek, which I was watching when I was sick as well. Just made me smile. If you have not checked out this contemporary, definitely check it out. It has friendship, romance, theater, and a lot of fun representation. Definitely a strong focus on friendship, and I really liked it. And I talked about this a lot in my recent videos today, so go check out my top 10 books of the year where I talk about it in grave detail, but it was definitely a fun book that definitely made me smile. The next question is, what is the prettiest book you bought yourself this year? And that for me is Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian. I actually did have an arc of this and wound up giving it to someone so I can get another book, but I had to have this book in my collection. I wound up getting it signed by the author, and I love this cover. It is so pretty. I have a lot of pretty covers in my collection, but this is definitely one of my favorites. Is the question, what books do you want to read by the end of the year? I have so many. I have 4 bookshelves full of books, but some of the books that I really need to kind of read is Children of Blood and Bone, Bells. I want to complete the Grisha trilogy. I want to complete the Air series by Cinda Williams Chima. I want to make a pretty good head start on the Exiled Queen series by Cinda Williams Chima. And yeah, there's just a lot of books I want to read. I want to read Four Dead Queens. I want to read Wicked King. I want to read Burning Maze. I have a lot of books, and it's just endless. There's so many things I want to read, and there's just not enough hours in a day. But I do have a pretty good head start this year, so hopefully I can tackle a lot more books in the later half of the year than I did in the first half of the year. That's just going to depend on job hunting and stuff like that. Hopefully, even if I do get a full-time job, I can still devote as much time to reading as I do now, because it's definitely the highlight and joy of my life. So we'll definitely keep reading no matter what happens job-wise. Question on this is, who's your favorite bookish community member? And for me, I this is the first time I went to BEA and BookCon this year, but I have never had the pleasure of meeting booktubers before. Like, I know I technically am a booktuber, but these people were like literally high level people that I've met. And I got to meet Super Space Chick and Alexa, and like I just love seeing them like in live and in person. They're awesome. But it's nice that they actually like know my name now. Which is just bizarre. Like, I never thought that they would know who I am. Mackie knows me, which is awesome, and I love them. So it was nice to see them in person, and we both live in New York or around New York City, which is really nice. So yeah, those are definitely some of the coolest people that I've met this year, and we got to keep up like a friendship, which is nice. But they're awesome. So if you have not checked out Super Space Chick or Alexa from Alexa Love Books, her and her husband Mackie run her channel, and Kristen runs Super Space Chick, and you get to see pop-ups from her husband Andrew as well. They're just really, really cool people, and I love to give them a shout out if I can. I think I got a shout out on their channel every once in a while, so I'm just returning the favor. But this is my mid-year freakout tag. Let me know what some of the answers to some of your questions in the comments, and we will discuss it in the comments. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later.